I really suffered from so many issues, so many diagnoses that people and doctors themselves didn't really understand. That's when I became really obsessed with understanding more about the microbiome, about gut health. The majority of the intolerances we're seeing today is because a lot of people are not eating based off their ancestral DNA.
Yeah.
You could be doing everything right when it comes to what you're eating. But if you wake up in the morning and you don't have that sense of belonging, that is going to age you and deteriorate your health far more faster.
Yeah.
When you're in your darkest days, years, months of your life, we're always questioning, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to leave a job I love so much? This is all meant to be. You wouldn't have taken all these risks and taken all these hard decisions if it wasn't for that. It's okay to change careers. It's okay to pivot.
What is your number one advice you will give to people?
Never forget why you started this whole thing.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Wellsome. In today's episode, I have the pleasure to have with me Hadil. Welcome to Wellsome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and I'm sure you don't need any introduction, but for people who don't know about Hadil, she's a wellness entrepreneur and she's the founder or co-founder of the Roost, Katcha Matcha, and the one and only the Broth Lab, which we're going to talk about it today. So the reason why I wanted to have Hadil on the podcast is because, first of all, she's so inspiring when it comes to her mission and what she's doing in the wellness scene. And I really wanted to dive deep into a little bit of gut health because I feel that it's a common topic in your businesses and in your life. And I just want to kind of like squeeze your brain and know more how you got into this and how also you manage all these beautiful businesses. So let's dive into it. So for anyone who doesn't know you, how would you actually define yourself? So how did you get into these beautiful businesses?
This is an amazing question because I've always considered myself a forever student.
Oh, I love that.
I'm very curious in nature. I mean, that's...
Which star sign are you?
Cancer.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
But I'm not the usual Cancer traits, which I'm told. I don't know what the usual ones are. I'm not a very big
emotional,
horoscope.
very grounded, very community-oriented, family-oriented.
Okay, that's me.
Yeah.
So I'm a forever curious student. That's how I like to refer to myself.
Yeah.
I love podcasts like these because we were just talking about how
Yeah.
a lot of reflecting and mirroring happens. I'm obsessed with gut health, and hence why I'm obsessed with bone broth.
Yeah.
And I like to refer myself as a mom entrepreneur who's trying to juggle it all, trying to find that balance, which doesn't exist at days.
Yeah.
But above all, I'm just a human.
Yeah, I love that. And for people that they still don't really understand the importance of gut health, tell me more about it.
You know, this is a trend that we're seeing now, a lot of focus and a lot of sort of emphasis, how gut health matters. And I love that. I love those trends.
Finally, right?
Finally, something that sticks, something that's useful, something that really deserves all that highlights and all these mega titles and attention in articles and media as we're seeing right now, because gut health is foundational.
Yeah.
It is really not just our second brain. And again, I like to refer to it as our first brain.
I agree.
That's another topic because when we were fetus in our mother's womb, the first thing that forms through the umbilical cord is actually our gut way before weeks before the fetus brain is developed. So really our gut is everything. Yeah. And there is this confusion that gut has to do only with digestion, right? But gut health covers hormonal balance, covers your mood, even covers your characteristics, Maria.
Yeah.
The way you act, the way you behave, the way you hold yourself, the way you're talking right now has a lot to do with your gut.
Yeah.
So it's truly
It's
everything.
so fascinating.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
The microbiome research is still ongoing, and that's why I'm forever curious about what's going on with the health space when it comes to gut health. And
did you ever suffer from gut issues? That's why you got into this, or there was another, let's say, pivotal moment for you?
You know, for me, when I left my corporate career, working 13 years in the energy sector, leading the human resource division, I didn't leave and pivot lightly because I wanted to try something new or because just of my health journey. It was survival for me. I had to stop everything because my health took the back seat.
Really?
Postpartum, after I had my eldest, who's now 12, I really suffered from so many issues, so many diagnoses that people and doctors themselves didn't really understand. Maybe at the time it was a new autoimmune they couldn't label,
Yeah.
they couldn't diagnose. I don't know what it was.
How did you feel?
So many weird symptoms: brain fog, skin issues, weird digestions, a lot of intolerances, not being able to have the energy I used to have. I used to sleep 6 hours. I'm waking up alive. I'm waking up young. And for someone who's in the early 30s at the time, I was like 30, 31, it was very unusual
Yeah.
to feel fatigued and still have your hormone spectrum tests come back normal.
Yeah.
But that is the issue with the Western medicine. We're seeing more and more conventional way of testing that does not take the holistic approach, that does not take gut health into the
Into
equation.
consideration,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's when I became really obsessed with understanding more about the microbiome, about gut health, and really became the guinea pig that I was and started applying all that wellness and knowledge and research onto myself, and then expanded into being the entrepreneur I am today.
Wow.
And launching different healthy concepts.
Wow. I think maybe this was kind of like meant to be, because I think you find your new purpose in what happened. What I usually say, especially on the podcast, is that what I notice in people, especially when they're coming, is that maybe they have a very down moment in their life, but because of that down moment, they found like a new purpose and they realigned with really what make them happy. I think that was your pivotal moment, maybe.
I think the best stories come out of struggles.
I
You
agree.
really have to hit rock bottom sometimes to really realize that this is no more
Yeah.
a comfort zone option for me. And even though I was excelling in my career, my master's is in human resource management, I loved what I was doing
Yeah.
in the energy sector. And I saw the transition, the growth, that decade of how the capital was growing in terms of sustainability
Yeah.
and energy and growth. But that didn't resonate anymore
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay to change your mind. It's
Yeah.
okay to change careers. It's okay to pivot and do what needs to be done then
Yeah.
and there. We're not trees. We can.
Absolutely.
We can move around and
That's a
navigate.
beautiful message actually to spread to our community as well. Maybe if they find themselves in a moment where they don't know where they go, or they're scared to take the next step. It's so beautiful that actually you're saying you don't have to be scared. Probably God has better plans.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that because there was always this hidden hand sort of
Yeah.
moving me around, invisible.
Yeah.
And I really didn't understand it then.
Yeah.
Because when you're in your darkest days, years, months of your life, we're always questioning, why is this happening to me? Why
Yeah.
do I have to leave a job I love so much? Why, when I'm a mother and I have a baby depending on me, this happens? But this is all meant to be because
Yeah.
you're supposed to elevate to a much better place.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have taken all these risks
No.
and taken all these hard decisions if it wasn't for that. So
Absolutely.
there's no coincidence in life.
I love that. And coming back to the gut health, why do you think nowadays, especially, a lot of people are suffering from gut health? I have the feeling that we took actually a step back rather than a step forward. And I'm
Yes.
so glad that now everyone is kind of focused on gut health. What do you think people are missing when it comes to gut health nowadays?
I think when it comes to gut health, we're really ignoring what the gut really needs to thrive. We've looked around and seen what do we need to do to earn more,
Yeah.
to get on with our day, with our lifestyle, with the speed that we're going on, with convenience. This luxurious lifestyle that we're living here in the UAE,
Yeah.
we're so grateful for,
Blessed,
but it's
yeah.
not doing us any justice, it's not doing our gut health any justice, because gut health needs rhythm, it needs slowing down, it needs long simmering, fermenting foods that no one has the time for.
Yeah.
It needs a lot of reflecting, meditation, praying, and that all we have steered away
Yeah.
because of our new lifestyle,
The fast speed.
the fast pace that we're running every single day.
Yeah.
And when it comes to gut health, the journey of the gut is about time. It doesn't happen overnight. So a lot of the times people think, oh my God, my gut is not well. I ate well for a week, but I'm not getting anywhere. Well, it comes over time.
True.
And health isn't linear, there's ups and downs, and it's a constant sort of rituals and habits and lifestyle that needs to be maintained when it comes to gut health.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest misconception, to answer your question, is that people just assume that gut health is a one-off looking after, just like we talk about skin. You don't get good skin by just once doing a facial, once eating well, sleeping well for a few weeks, and then going back to your routine, which is not optimum. Yeah. It's a long, hard work of a journey that you need to be continuing with.
Yeah. And for people that are struggling from gut health and they really want to improve, what would you recommend them? Like, it's an holistic approach, and we all agree on this. And actually, I'm glad that you pointed out, because some people think that it's just about the food, or it's just about sometimes pills. I know, doctor, they're giving pills without even checking about the nutrition of the client. And what do you think people need to start consider? What are the steps that you would take?
The first thing I would tell anyone with gut issues is to look after their mental health initially, way before they start with their gut, because the gut-brain axis is real, and the way your gut is, whether it's inflamed and having so many issues, is going to affect you mentally, and that's going to backfire. So the first thing is to look after yourself mentally.
I love that.
The constant affirmations that I don't have to do so much for my gut. It's about the simple steps.
Yeah.
And then the second approach, after you've strengthened your mental health, is to do a complete consolidative stool analysis test. Mm-hmm. Go down to the foundation, the unconventional way of testing, a holistic approach to look at your gut from the inside, because things you can't understand, things you can't measure, you can't change.
Yeah,
so you want to know what's going on what's underlining there. So a CDSA, I would recommend, and I highly recommend everyone to do it biannually, to be honest, just to understand what's going in the gut, and then to stop any supplementation. Every supplementation that someone is taking, to stop completely before they start including it in a systematic, well-researched approach, and to not overcomplicate things. Sometimes the simplest things are actually the best way to go. That's my baseline. And to follow the foundation, we spoke about 3 things that are non-negotiable. You eat well, you sleep well, and you move well. Yeah. If you do all these 3 consistently, regardless what you do or you cannot do, because I know a lot of people will say, well, I cannot afford, my insurance doesn't cover, or
I'm busy.
In my lifestyle, I couldn't, or I am a mom of 5, and where do I have the time to do that? Then start with the foundation that's almost free. Yeah. You've got a fridge at home, what you stock it up, how you start your daily ritual. We were talking about how you start your day with hydration, lemon water or alkaline or filtered water, then bone broth, then breaking your fast with something that's nourishing, high in protein. These are so simple and available. True. So you start with that, and just prioritizing sleep. It's so underrated. Yeah. Our hormone detoxification happens during our sleep. Our growth hormones are recharged during our sleep. And you really can't function as a human if you haven't gotten at least 8 hours of sleep.
Of course.
And then detoxification and gut health are strengthened by the normal detoxification pathways. Yeah. So movement comes with a lot of sweating, activating that vagus nerve, lymphatic drainage is so important. And these are things that are very affordable and doable, and they're almost free.
Yeah. And can I say something? And I want actually to ask you about this. Yeah. Everyone is talking about, I have to detoxify. I have to get a detox. And people sometimes they're missing that our body does it itself. So what do you think about this trend of detoxification?
Detoxification is an innate, the most natural, simple method that the body does without you having to do it. It's basically like breathing right now. Yeah. There's no effort.
Exactly.
Your body right now is detoxifying CO2 by just breathing. Your liver now is doing a lot of work. Your gut is actually working, even whether you're eating or not. It's a constant sort of lifestyle that your body goes through. Yeah. The only difference is that, unfortunately, there are so many factors around us, especially environmental, that does not allow the body to detoxify optimally. And the easiest way to do it is fasting. fasting is the ultimate detoxifier.
Yeah.
But fasting within the right hours, fasting depending on your type, your body, your gender.
Mindful, yeah.
Mindfully, whether you want to do intermittent fasting, whether in your faith there's fasting months,
Yeah.
you know, with Christianity and Muslims, you know, there's Ramadan, there's Lent. All of these are ultimate detoxification
True.
ways. But also there are easy ways to include detoxification. Right now, by drinking this bone broth right now, on an empty stomach, I did intermittent fasting, which I rotate. I don't do every day. I'm right now helping my liver detoxify. I'm
Yeah.
helping my gut detoxify. So there's a lot of biohacks, if you like, when it comes to nutrition, of how you can help your body detoxify
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, and I just consider the bone broth in general, like I would say like an ancestor food,
Yes.
something that our ancestor used to do like naturally, and nowadays we brought it up as a new trend, which I love it, but it's something that is rooted into tradition, I would say. How much important it is to like go back to our roots when it comes to food and have this traditional food that is not processed and is ancestral, I would say. How much important is
It's
it?
so important. The majority of the intolerances we're seeing today is because a lot of people are not eating based off their ancestral DNA.
Yeah.
We're not eating seasonal, we're not in the region we grew up with, and we're not rotating our food.
Yeah.
But most importantly, ancestral wisdom is where our grandmothers knew best. Our tetas, we call it in
Yeah.
Arabic. Our tetas knew so much more. They never added any water to their stews, to their soups,
Yeah.
to their cooking. It was always long, overnight simmered, real bones, cooking
Yeah.
with real herbs that
True.
they included instead.
Overcooked and in the
yes,
nights.
over many,
Yeah.
many nights. And that was the easiest way for them to include food as medicine.
Yeah.
So we talk about health and advancements as, you know, longevity and biohacking and technology
Yeah.
and advancements, but health is backwards.
Yeah.
Health is going back to the slow and mindful eating. Health is going back to fermentation, slow simmering, long-lasting foods and staples that 2,000, 3,000 years ago, we have the data. We
Yeah.
don't need the Western research backed by science
Yeah.
to tell us what food is good for us. Our ancestor tested it
Yeah.
for 3,000 years ago, and
They
we've
knew.
ignored it. We've just said, oh no, I want to see what, you know, this journal in health have said to us that
Yeah.
we should be eating. Imagine we're getting our information from small controlled groups that have tested for like a decade or two maximum, when we have all these blue zone countries
Yeah.
and all these advancements, if you like, in how food is supposed to be from our ancestors.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that shift, and
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that shift.
Yeah.
Because more people are asking their grandmothers and their great-grandmothers what the dishes are from, how it was cooked. They're all coming back to fermentation. They're all going back to slow-simmered bone broths
Yeah.
and stews, and that's all so heartwarming.
Yeah. And I was talking about this in my previous podcast, and I was saying I studied trend forecasting in my university, and it was so interesting to see that every time there is a trend, there's in parallel going on an anti-trend. For example, now wellness is going throughout an advancement when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
But on the other side, we're going backwards when it comes to, you know, going into nature.
Correct.
And slow down. So there are those two trends that are kind of like very the opposite of each other, but they're going on in parallel. I think this is so beautiful because
Yes.
I believe that, especially in wellness, we deserve to have more data, more knowledge, especially when it comes to women. I think we need to be studied a little bit more. On the other side, it's so true that a simple walk in nature and I don't know, in Tuscany,
Yeah.
like drinking like red wine and enjoying with your friends is actually the secret, instead of like, I don't know, thinking about so many optimizations and tracking.
I think that is what we're realizing. People want the sense of purpose and community to really feel whole again.
Yeah.
You could be doing everything right when it comes to what you're eating, but if you wake up in the morning and you don't have that sense of belonging,
Yeah.
that you're not adding value
Yeah.
there's no community and tribe that you have found for yourself that you resonate with,
Yeah.
that is going to age you
Yeah.
and deteriorate your health far more faster
Yeah.
than that burger you chose not to eat.
Yeah. And can I tell you something, Hadil? The reason why I really wanted to invite you on the podcast is because, of course, I've been following you for a while on social media and everything. But what I got from your personality on social, and now that I see you, is that I think you have those values, the value of being super on purpose. I can see that you have the fire in yourself to just, you're passionate about what you're doing. And also you have a sense of community, the sense of creating something for people to, that can be a restaurant, can be a matcha, can be a bone broth. So I think that this is super inspiring. And I think this is kind of like the cocktail for, I would say for, I don't want to talk about happiness because it's a big concept, but for fulfillment, I would say.
100%.
Yeah. So cheers to that. So we're drinking bone broth.
We have.
Yeah. Cheers.
Hugging a mug.
Yeah. And I want to know that actually, now that we're drinking your broth, how did you get into this beautiful, beautiful business? That I actually, guys, I drink it every day. So I'm one of the first customers, so I can guarantee on that.
Thank you for saying what you have said about the community, because truly everything that I have built was around and for the community.
Yeah.
Having worked in my previous job around people with the human assets, you really do get to value the power of working together and team building, and just how important the human asset is.
Yeah.
And when I left that, I left the policies and procedures, but I never really left the human element. And whatever was the foundation for whatever I built business-wise was always about adding value to where I was, adding value because I didn't want people to say, I want to get better.
Yeah.
I can't find good quality grass-fed and free-range bone broth or chicken or good quality AAA ceremonial volcanic soil derived matcha and not find it in the region that I have built. And I have lived all my life, 40 plus years I've lived here.
Wow.
And I can't imagine, obviously I'm doing it for also selfish reasons. I want the best for myself and my family and my community and my friends. I'm doing it for that selfish reason as well. But with that thrives, with that you get the ripple effect.
Yeah.
The ripple effect of everyone else benefiting, everyone else getting healthier. How would it feel if you were the only healthy person in your community?
Yeah. Pretty scary, I would say.
Scary.
Yeah.
So you actually thrive from everyone else thriving around you.
Yeah.
That's the whole ethos.
Yeah.
You get more successful by everyone around you winning as well.
Yeah.
So that is the motto, that's the approach, that's the perspective that every founder, I'm sure, through his business or her business is trying to create, adding more value, creating a ripple effect. So everything we've built from certified rotisserie, hormone-free, antibiotic-free, from the Roost, from the Broth Lab, sustainable, using the bones, using everything from the head to the toe of the animal, getting all these amazing amino acids, protein, all the L-arginine, arginine, glutamine, all the different proline and amino acids that are in abundance in bone broth in a bioavailable way. That takes 15 hours to make, and now it's accessible for people in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Who gets that except here in the UAE? It's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And obviously nobody has the ability to travel to Japan to source amazing high-quality volcanic soil, 6th-generation samurai farms.
Yeah.
And now you're getting it here in a click of a button.
Yeah.
The convenience is on another level. But
Yeah.
if we use convenience sort of to our advantage, our health will be in a much better place.
Position. Yeah.
100%.
I agree. And which was the first business you started?
The Roost. So we opened the eatery when my daughters were young. My Yara, who's 9 now, I was still pregnant with her. And that's when we decided to launch the Roost rotisserie. We wanted fast food that's healthy, that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, that's gourmet, that we like to say doesn't cost an arm and a wing,
Yeah.
or a wing and a thigh, something that's affordable but super high quality, and you don't need to go to a 5-star Michelin star
Yeah.
restaurant to get that quality.
Yeah.
Locally sourced, of course, because locally is best for us. And that's how it started from the Roost. COVID hit, I launched the Broth Lab, And then 3 years ago, I fell in love with the farm that was sourcing one of the best matcha ever available there in Uji, Kyoto. I did the whole 21-day with them. I stayed at the farm, learned everything it needs to do about matcha from farm to cup.
Yeah.
And then I brought it back here, and I was just obsessed over everything that's ancestral.
Yeah.
Everything that takes long time to create and simmer. Who has time to brine chicken for 42 hours in olive oil and fresh herbs and then cook it slowly for 3 hours?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And who has time to cook 15 hours simmered bone broth? It's also hard. And I understand life comes in the way. But there are availability.
Yeah.
Now, there's no excuse not to have your morning cup. You choose that.
Yeah.
Not because it's hard, it's because your choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are actually, or what is the lessons or the number one lesson you choose that each business taught you?
Ah, that's amazing, because with the Roost, I was battling a health condition as I was launching the business. So I felt like it was coming out of a fire that had to do with getting better, creating something for the community to thrive. And in that process, I also wanted to apply all the knowledge of how nutrition plays a huge role in how you feel and with your energy.
Yeah.
And I was consuming bone broth, but I was doing it myself. But when I launched the bone broth, the Broth Lab, I was better. It was out of a passion project because I really applied it. I was the guinea pig that I was, and I saw the benefits of bone broth on my energy, on my health, on my hormones, on my skin, on my hair. My hair was falling like crazy, and I was able to see how simple additions in my morning routine, like adding bone broth, could really elevate someone's health and gut health. So it came out of, if you like, a passion, sort of a well-tested...
An enthusiasm.
story. And with the matcha, when I launched it, it was something on the side that I really enjoyed. So with everyone, I was in a different phase of my life. One was more...
different baby, I would say.
Very different baby. Different characteristic, different phase of me being Hadil in that journey of entrepreneurship. Each one of them sparked a different character in me.
I love it. And when it comes to the Broth Lab, because I'm a big consumer and I honestly consume every day the beef one. But you said to me something super important that I didn't know behind the scene, that it's good actually to rotate the broth.
Yes.
Can you please share with our community exactly how to integrate bone broth in the right way?
I love that you asked that, because a lot of the people know that the beef bone marrow broth, which is 100% beef, there's no added bones to the beef broth. So the most nutrient dense is the bone marrow out of the whole cow. So this is the most nutrient dense when it comes to collagen type 1 and collagen type 3, just like the lamb broth. However, collagen type 2 is only available in the chicken broth.
Yeah.
And why variety is key, because they target different parts of our body. And you want that variety. So if you go to brothlab.ae, our website, there's a variety kit, which includes all the different Broth Lab types in the kit particularly. And the slogan there is variety is key. And you know what? This is why diets don't last. Because once you categorize yourself as either keto or paleo for a long periods of time, because for short periods of time, these are really helpful. Or, vegetarian or vegan, these are labels that are actually not sustainable. Yeah. And what we need the variety. And that applies even on bone broth. Yeah. So you want to get all the different collagen types. You want to get all the different bioavailable minerals. You want to get all the different spectrum of amino acids. All of these are in abundance in different types. So you wake up in the morning, you get your hydration, whether it's lemon water, whether it's just your filtered water, preferably not cold, to ease the detoxification. And then you want to, after 15 minutes or 10 minutes, while you're heating your morning bone broth, you want to sip it on an empty stomach.
So I'm doing it correctly, I assume.
You are. You're doing it spot on.
Good.
And I'm sure that you can give so much advice as well.
Normally for the girl list, but it's applied to everyone, no gender. I normally, what I do is I wake up in the morning, I drink water. I only drink my specific water.
Amazing.
My team knows that I have my water, which is not in plastic. It's from New Zealand, so super wellness knob. And I drink water, and then I actually enjoy my cup of bone broth while I'm doing my makeup.
Correct. Amazing. Yeah. And it just becomes natural.
Yeah.
There's no hassle. It takes 30 seconds to heat up. There's no excuse. You put it in the cup while you're picking your clothes or putting your makeup or doing your hair. It just becomes part of your routine.
Yeah.
And that is what we need.
Yeah.
Every single person needs a structure.
Yeah.
If you don't put structure, it's going to slip away and you will not apply the consistency we talk about. Because 100%. In the beginning of the podcast, we said gut health takes time. It's about consistency. It's about doing the things that you're doing over and over again before in a year's time or in 2 years' time or maybe in a few months' time, you really see the fruits of what you've been working so hard on.
Yeah. And Hadil, you touch base something that actually I didn't plan to touch base, but I really want to share with community together. You said that the power of repetition, it's so important to build like discipline and to build like foundation. Doesn't matter if it's gut health, if it's a business and everything. And I would like to add on this is that our body needs to feel safe. And in order for our body to feel safe, we need these repetitions.
Correct.
So also what I learned on myself is that before I used to have a very hectic calendar and a very hectic day. Every day looked kind of like different to me until like I reached to a point where my body and my mind they were craving repetition. They were craving discipline. They were craving like a structure. And I think this is something that it can also apply to what you're doing, because from the broth to the business to like the purpose that you had, you create sort of like repetitions, even during hard times. And then look at you saw all the fruits coming out from the seed.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was in a podcast before coming here, and I remember they asked me, they're like, Hadil, you actually practice what you preach. And I was like, doesn't everyone do that? They're like, no. The majority of the people, unfortunately, in the health and wellness, they preach what they don't practice.
I know.
And it's a sad reality, and it shocked me hearing it from so many people in the health and wellness space, because I just assumed that you have all that knowledge and you have all that, you have the platform and the power to share the wisdom with others. Won't you apply it on yourself, on your family? Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I know.
But this is what we are talking about. We're talking about realistic, consistent lifestyle changes that we ourselves apply before we talk about.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've tested it. We were the guinea pigs on ourselves. Yeah. We're not taking something out of a book and telling people, oh, by the way, today I learned that bone broth is so good for you.
Yeah.
No. These are things that we apply every single day.
Absolutely.
For years, and we continue to do so. And we continue to empower others to do it themselves. They don't have to buy it, but they can cook it at home if they can.
Yeah.
But they need to include it as a staple in their lives.
Yeah, I agree. Adil, I have a question for all the beautiful moms that we have in our community. How did you manage to be such a light, full of light entrepreneur, and have how many kids do you have?
2 girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have 2 beautiful girls. I'm so lucky that I have 2 understanding girls that understand how important it is for their mom to be productive.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I come from a very, very overproductive mom. And a lot of people I remember in the past, they used to ask me, but is it okay for you that your mom is not there? And I swear to God, I think as a child that when you see your mom thriving and be productive and working, even though maybe physically is not there, you won't feel it.
Correct. They understand.
And
I'm so glad I integrated them into part of my routine, part of my...
I love that.
I love that they were also accepting to that fact. So every time I go into different wellness workshops, I go to different community meetups, I bring them with me, and they see the impact. Because when I leave at home and I say, Mommy has to go to work, they're like, who are you going to meet today? Or what are you going to create today? And is it something that is different? They understand.
Yeah.
They understand that the impact.
Yeah.
And I think for other moms who are busy, it's so important to explain to your children, but to also let them, if possible, visually see what you do and the impact you're creating, because then they're more forgiving for the time you spend away from them. And I focus on quality over quantity with my products, with my lifestyle, and with my children. I spend quality times with them.
Yeah.
If I have the weekends with them, then it's weekends completely with no intervention, no work, no distraction. We spend quality time together. And I would prefer that being a stay-at-home mom that is not fully present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand,
And I think that's about it. You were saying about your schedule, how it was hectic and crazy, but now you're more productive when it's more structured and you're doing less rather than more, because it's more quality when you do less.
Because it's intentional.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's intentional, definitely. And I'm sure that they will get inspired from what they see when it comes to your purpose, and especially if you include them and you show them what you're doing, they will get super inspired.
And I'm setting a nice example. I think. I hope I fulfilled what I feel, because when you become a mom, the guilt never really leaves you.
Yeah.
You're always going to feel guilty about anything and everything, and it just gets harder as they get older. It's not easy. But I hope I'm setting a right example for them of how to really fill your own cup before you give others, because you really need to start with the you. Well, I really need to start with myself.
Yeah.
And I come from a family that were all entrepreneurs. My father was an entrepreneur, my grandfather, my great-great-grandfather. So the pressure was always on. When I moved into corporate, they were like, that's what you want to do?
Yeah.
Make other people rich. Yeah. And I was like, no, I want that foundation. I want to understand what it takes. And to learn.
It was very important.
It was very important for me. And when I opened my own thing, I felt that was fulfilling for me.
Nice. Hadil, how important it is actually to be able to receive when it comes to mindset and business as a woman?
Receive in what sense?
In sense of finance, in sense of letting people understand your product, because actually, I want to ask you this question because in our previous podcast, we talk about how women sometimes they don't let themselves receive, and we are built to receive as a females.
Because we're givers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, would you consider yourself someone that let yourself receive, or would you consider someone that it's always give and you still have to work on this balance?
I love this so much because, yes, especially for us women, we are givers. And even when we're offered a compliment, we're like, oh, thank you. Yeah. And we pass that compliment back. Whereas men would get that compliment, amplify it, and it builds their ego. And they're
and like buildings and towers.
100%. But that's amazing. It's amazing to really have that mindset, to open your channels, to accept that abundance, that receiving pathway that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can really manifest.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, you can't manifest it. And if you don't manifest it, it's not really the right approach towards life of, hoping for the best. And building a business needs to be a financially viable business. And that comes with you, obviously knowing your numbers inside out, being strong financially in that regard, but also willing to receive and to understand that it's a two-way street.
Yeah, yeah. Hadil, one last message for our community, or one last, I would say, advice or affirmation for people that, I don't want to say they want to get into business, I'm sure they are, but maybe they're looking at you and being inspired from your sense of purpose. What is your number one advice you will give to people?
An advice that stuck with me was never forget your why. You're going to grow, you're going to scale, you're going to expand, you're going to do well. But never forget why you started this whole thing.
Why did you start this beautiful thing?
I started it because I wanted to add value. I wanted to make ancestral superfoods convenient to communities, especially mothers and families. And I hope I continue to remember that as we grow, as the businesses grow, that this will always be my number one motive and vision and mission in life.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you
Hadil,
for
thank
having
you
me.
also so much for being on the podcast. I'm sure there's a room for a second one in the future. And where people can find you?
I'm known as Heal with Hadil on Instagram, and the website brothlab.ae has all the information, not just about myself, but about the products. And we have multiple wellness kits, detox weekly protocols, and much more if people want to start their gut health journey.
Perfect. And guys, if you have any question for Hadil, please let us know in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.